In this video, we'll create the bullet mechanics. So when the player fires a gun, and we'll be able to fire the bullet to kill the enemy. And also we'll create a sequence of event. So the player can only use the gun after he picked up the gun. Now let's temporarily turn on the direction light so we can see the environment. And let's select the aim point, press F key to focus on it. And then right click on the endpoint and let's create an empty object. So let's rename it to bullet generator. Right, so as we created this under the endpoint, as you can see, the axis is the same. So basically the front axis, which is the blue one, the z-axis is aiming to the front. So that's what we want. So now let's bring it out. So here's the bullet generator. Right, and now let's create a bullet object. So let's right click on it and let's create a 3D object, a sphere. Okay, so by default it should be huge, and let's rename this one to bullet model. Okay, and let's make it smaller, and I would make it similar to here, this whole similar size, and then I would create a tag for it. So here let's add a tag and let's add bullet. So keep the B caps lock and save, and let's select the bullet model and let's assign it. So here later on we're going to reference this tag, so whenever the object tagged as a bullet hit a enemy, so the enemy will be killed. So that's why we do that. So make sure B is caps locked. And for this bullet model, I want you to keep the collider as on, don't check on each trigger. And here let's add a ring body, and for the ring body let's check off use gravity. Okay, and here I also want to assign a material to it. So let's go to a model and under the gun folder let's create a material, and let's see bullet M, and well, just give it some basic color for it. So let's do a orangish color and let's drop it onto the bullet, and also let's right click on it and let's create a point light. Okay, and for this point light let's rename it to bullet glow, and for this light let's move it out backward and let's shrink the range. So by default it should be huge, so let's shrink. Okay, something like this. And let's increase the intensity to about maybe 4, and range maybe do 1. Intensity try 2, so lower it down. And now let's hide the directional light and see how it looks. So this will be the bullet. When we fire, we will still be able to see it because of the light. Okay. Now let's select this bullet model and drop it into the gun folder. So here we'll create a prefab for it. Okay, and we can come back here under the bullet generator and we can delete that bullet model, and then select the bullet generator. And we're going to apply a script. So here we're going to go to the script folder and let's drop in the bullet generator script. Right, and then let's select the bullet generator and apply the script we just brought in. And here for the bullet, let's drop in the bullet model prefab we just created. So the concept is whenever we press fire key, you're going to grab this prefab onto the generator and shoot it to the front axis. So let me show you. If I turn off the directional light, and if I play, okay, so now you see that. Alright, here's the script. So in the beginning, we assign a float number. We set as a 3000, and we'll give it a name, bonus speed, and we're going to reference it later section of the script. And also we assign a game object, a boolnet object. So that is the boolnet model we assigned on the boolnet generator. And we created a boolean status firing, which has false or true status. Okay. And when the game starts, when we press down the fire 1 key, which is the mouse left key referenced in Unity, and also if the fire boolean status is false, which is the default state, it will start a coroutine. So coroutine state involved with the time, right? So I'll talk about it later. So you're gonna start a coroutine, which is a fire, and here's it. So in the beginning, you're going to change the boolean status as true, and you're going to initiate a boolnet prefab, what we have in the prefab folder, and then it's going to initiate and generate as the game object in the game, and it'll let it to travel forward, which is the blue arrow, the front axis we have created. So you're going to travel forward with the speed. Here we created 3000. So if we want it to move faster, you can increase this number. Alright, and after it initiated about after 1.5 seconds, it's going to destroy that boolnet object. So if you want this boolnet to fly a longer time, you can increase this number. And then wait for 0.31 seconds. It will reset the boolean status as false, so it will stop fire. Okay, so the reason why I set here the wait for time is because, remember, in the last script, firing gun, we have this whole coroutine sequence, and the time plus together is 0.31 seconds, right? So for 0.31 seconds, you're going to play the shooting animation. So we want the boolnet to be fired every 0.31 seconds when you press down the mouse key. Otherwise, it will generate a boolnet too fast, and when you only played the animation once, it may already generated the 3 boolnets or 4 boolnets, so that's not realistic. So that's why we put a wait for seconds, 0.31 seconds, and then reset this boolnet status to false, and then you can fire again. Alright, so now we have a small bug and I want you to fix. So now if I press 1 or 2, 3, 4 key, so we have the flashlights or the lantern show with the gun, so that's not realistic. Alright, so this issue happens because, remember, in the earlier lesson we have created this switch light script, and when we press 1 to 4 key, we can show the flashlights. So now let's add the 5th object, which is the gun. So we want to disable the gun or show the gun when we press a key. Okay, so let's go to script and switch light script. We can just double click and open. Here we go. So we just add one more object, and here let's see gun, and by default we're gonna set it as false, so we're gonna disable it, and here we're going to just add so when you press 1, 2, 3, 4 key, the gun will all showing deactivated, and once you press 5, the gun will be turned on. Alright, so this is the script. So now let's save the script and let's go back to the scene. And if you select the light controller, we see the gun object is already here. However, I don't want to apply this gun hand directly to here. Remember, we have set this gun pickup trigger If I show the lights, you will be able to see that. Remember, we have set this trigger pickup gun to activate this object, right? So here we're going to create a parent object for this gun model. So I'm going to select the gun on hand. Oops, don't rename it. So press F key to focus on it, and then here I'm going to create a empty object, and this object I'm going to just say gun on hand group. Okay, and I'll drop it here, and then I'm going to drop this gun model inside of this group. Okay, so now I'm going to turn off the gun on hand, this model, and for this group I'm going to assign it for the light controller. Okay, so whenever we press a key, we press a 5 key, it's going to only show this group. If the gun model is not activated by the trigger pickup gun, it will still not showing up here. Okay, so let's see how it looks if I test play. And in the beginning, as you can see, if I click on mouse left key, I cannot fire and I cannot see the gun. If I press 1, 2, 3, 4, I can only see the lights, but if I press 5 key, no gun is showing up. So now let's pick up the gun in the bathroom. Here we go. So now if I press EK, pick it up, now I'm able to fire. Alright, so now we fixed the issue, however we get another issue. So as you can see, when I fire, the gun will disappear. So that is because now we have parented original gun model with the animation into another object, so it messed up with its orientation axis. So that's Unity. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I will just recreate the animation, which should be simple, and this can also be a good demonstration that, you know, if you create animation on an object, be aware of this potential issue. If you parent it to another object, it may mess up the orientation axis. Okay, so I will go back to the gun here, and I can just delete these two objects, the animation clip and the animation I created. Right, so now on the gun, we can also remove component, remove that animator component, and then we can select the gun on the hand, and with this gun folder open, we'll go back to the animation tab, and we can create a animation again. So we can see gun shot anime. Make sure the name convention is exactly the same as mine because we have referenced it in the script, right? So here let's create a keyframe, and remember at 6th frame what we have done is we select it and get to rotation and rotate it, and also we move it up a little bit. So this is how it looks in the game view, right? And then at frame 20 we reset the original state. And then that's pretty much it, and we'll go back to the project folder here and double click on this animation controller we have created by default. So here we're going to create a empty state which has not targeted with animation, so we'll set it as a near default state, and also we'll select the gunshot animation clip, the animation we've created, check off loop time. Right, so now if I play it again, right, everything is fine. So now let's do a full game playthrough. So select the directional light and turn it off, and let's play. So in the beginning, as you can see, the gun object is disabled because we haven't pressed 5 key to enable it. If we press 5 key, we'll enable this object. However, the gun model is disabled. We have to pick it up in order to show it. So I press 1 to show the flashlight and enter the bathroom to pick up the gun. And here we go. So after I press the EK, now I pick it up the gun. However, it's still not showing up. So here I want to show an instruction, tell the player that you have to press 5 key in order to use the gun. Otherwise, who knows you can use the gun, right? So see, 5 key and R key to turn on the light and the gun. So we'll put the instruction. So here let's go to canvas, and let's go to game object and create a UI text, and I'm gonna say instruction 6, and for the text here I'm gonna say press 5 to use the gun, press R to enable the gun light. Okay, and here for the font size I want to do 20, and font color I will do white. Right, so let's turn wait, actually while select it and press F key to zoom in, so we can see that we have to scale it up. So I'm gonna use this tool to show the full text. Maybe we can use 2 sentences, so we can just go back to the instruction here, because this sentence is pretty long, so we can just do it in this way, right? And then we can center it, and we can also use this to center the text. Alright, and then let's hide this instruction and select the gun on hand, press F key to zoom in. Okay, so we're going to use a trigger to trigger this event to happen. So what I want to do is go to the gun pickup trigger. Here we go. So for this trigger, what I want to do is after I pick up the gun, I want it to show the instruction. Okay, enable the instruction. However, I don't want the instruction to stay on the screen all the time. So basically, I will add another trigger for that. So here, let's go create a cube. And for this cube, we're gonna see trigger gun function instruction. Maybe just trigger gun instruction. All right, and place it next to the trigger pickup gun. So here we go. And let's put it in front, make it a little bit bigger. And we don't want this trigger to show up in the beginning, so first let's turn off the mesh render and check on each trigger, and then we'll go to the gun pickup trigger and double click on pickup gun, and here we'll add an object. So here we will add next trigger, right? So here, once we press down EK to pick up the gun, we're going to show the next trigger. In the beginning, it's not showing. So here we're going to see true, and here we're going to see next trigger. All right, and make sure to save this script and come back here. Alright, so now if you are on the trigger pickup gun, this one, you should see that it updated. So here we have next trigger, so we can get the trigger gun instruction onto it. Okay, and we'll select the trigger gun instruction, and here we'll add a script. So let's drop in the gun instruction script to it. So this script is very simple. Let me open it and show you. Basically, we are just doing when the players enter this trigger, you're going to show the instruction. When the players exit the trigger, you're going to disable the instruction, right? So that is the script. So we'll attach it onto the trigger gun instruction. So here we can add a component, gun instruction, and for the instruction here, we're going to attach the 6th instruction, which is the showing what key to press to show the gun, right? And now, as we get everything here, we can select the gun trigger instruction and turn it off. Let's run another test. So now, if I enter the bathroom here, as I enter here, see, the instruction doesn't show in. After I pick up the gun, instruction will show. Press 5 to show the gun, press R to enable the gun light, and I can fire. Alright, now the last thing we need to do is, see if we select the light controller. Since we have edited this script and we added the 5th component, right? If we go back to the first scene and select the first person controller and select the light controller, as you can see in the first scene, this object is empty, so it will prevent us to test the play. However, since this is in this first scene, we haven't picked up the gun, right? So here we'll just create an empty object, and we can just maybe come here and right click and create empty, and we can say empty gun or anything you want, and select this light controller and apply it. So in this scene, the first scene, whenever you press a 5, it will not show anything because it will just show this empty object, right? So you couldn't see anything.